My wife is having an emotional affair with her coworker. It is day 13 of our advent calendar. Let's check out this full story. This story is recent. It started October 20th, 2025. It's always a coworker, isn't it? Which is funny because we just did a story of my husband is having an affair with this coworker who's married, and now it's the opposite. How the tables have turned. A few days ago, I noticed my wife deleting a text thread, which is something she has never done. I decided to check her laptop as texts go through there, and I was shocked to find that she was having a sexually explicit conversation with a coworker who also happens to be married and just had a child a few months ago. For context, we have been together for about 13 years and married for 4. We both work in demanding jobs in healthcare. Like any couple, we have had plenty of ups and downs. The last couple of years have really been in a rut. It has felt like we are constantly more irritable with each other. Our intimacy has been nearly dead for a while now. However, we both felt this may be part of depression and hormonal issues that we are having and working on. Another issue that bothers me is that for the entirety of our relationship, she's always made jabs at how men always cheat and I will someday cheat on her. You know, I have heard that people say when someone in a relationship is constantly worried about the other person cheating, it's because they are doing things that they wouldn't want their partner to be doing to them. I don't know how true that is, but I have heard that before. Her previous relationship before me ended with her boyfriend living a completely second life with a different woman. She used to go through my phone when she felt I was texting a particular female too much. Given all that, this current situation just enrages me. This coworker of hers has always been a close friend for the last 3 years. It's been obvious in the past that he has had a crush on my wife, but I have never seen any evidence that it was reciprocated. He has sent suggestive texts in the past and she had shut it down and insisted he likes to get a rise out of people. In the last few days, I have seen texts of the two of them complaining about their sex lives, talking about how much they want to have sex with each other, and sending noodles. That's what we call them on here. Photographs in the nude. He has even sent an explicit photo with part of his wife's face in it, claiming he wishes it was my wife. Oh, I feel like I know what picture that is. Right? An explicit photo with his what? Are we all thinking it? Are we all thinking it? We can't say it because things will get flagged on these pages, but there has been a lot of complaining about me and about his partner and how we do not sexually gratify them. She has been trying to stay on top of deleting threads, but often does not think to delete the stuff from bedtime to overnight. I am fairly confident nothing physical has happened yet. Part of me feels guilty for this. I have not been a perfect husband by any means. I have always been the one to do all the chores at home, care for the pets, cook, do our laundry. I will admit though that I am not the most emotionally available husband. I'm just not a cuddler or an overly sexual person. I understand this affair is her choice and not mine, but I do feel like I've pushed her into this, and I feel the guilt of it. My problem is that I do not know how to approach this. At first, I was shocked and angry. Now, I am numb and emotionless. Part of me feels the writing was on the wall for this marriage a while ago, and this is the final blow. Our family lives are insanely intertwined, and we literally share the same friend group. I don't know if I should just be trying to move out and figure things out, or if I should just be getting a divorce at this point. I know I will be gaslit when I finally confront her, and I don't even know how to confront her. I also don't know if I should tell the other guy's wife. I feel guilty given that they just had a baby. Reading this back, I understand I probably look like an idiot for not already having left, but I am struggling. Edit, we do not have kids, just pets. The relationship felt like it was going south for a few years now, but this was completely unexpected. I truly do not know if this is something I can forgive and move past or not. Another big issue of mine is the amount of disrespect thrown at me in those chats that she laughed along at. Me. Oh! Well, we're all adults here, I guess. If you're not, scroll. Me, what? Oh my God. This feels weird to say this. Some of the jokes she made was me washing her underwear that he got soaked. or making them dinner while he blows her back out. I don't know if that's something I will ever get over. I'm a non-confrontational person, pretty go-with-the-flow guy, but these jokes are pretty foul. Yeah, I don't think they're jokes, though. Are those jokes? Those are just statements. I don't think that's a joke. Even if I get over the sexting crap, it is hard to process how she can laugh along at stuff like that. Yeah, it's disgusting and completely disrespectful to your partner. All right, the first update came 1 week later. We're now at October 27th. I ended up having the confrontation early last week. It wasn't exactly what I had planned, but she knew something was up as I had emotionally checked out over the few days leading up to it. Some background info I learned / did not provide in the original post. The texting had gone about a week total. It turns out I had discovered it pretty early on. Although they have texted a lot for the last few years, I've seen them in the past and there was nothing like this, genuinely just work-related stuff. There were also a lot of remarks about the intimacy between us fizzling out, indicating that it may be a sign of the affair being physical. Our intimacy has dried out for the last year or so. We had chalked it up to stress, work, hormones, depression up to this point. In terms of the confrontation, there was no arguing or fireworks. I laid out a lot of grievances about the betrayal and the incredible disrespect that I felt. I also pointed out the rage I felt over the hypocrisy of accusing all men of cheating for years. She swore up and down that nothing physical occurred between them. I get it is naive of me to believe it, but for various reasons, I do. When I initially threatened to tell the other guy's wife was when the first wave of defensiveness began. She begged me not to ruin their family with a new baby and focus on fixing our marriage instead. I was also told how the OBS, which stands for Other Betrayed Spouse, so the guy's wife, will definitely tell all their coworkers, and now both her home life and work life will be ruined. Probably should have thought of that, huh? Maybe. They are both contractually bound to working together for the next 5 years. It's a residency. Her reasoning was that I have not made her feel desired and like a woman in a long time, that she gave into hormones, and as he was saying things that made her feel craved. Multiple times I did feel like the situation was being minimized. Statements such as nothing physical happened, it was just sexting, have not sat well with me. I also felt like I was being blamed for this. To clarify, we have talked in the past about trying to be more romantic and stuff of that sort. I still feel like that does not mean doing this crap is acceptable. I admitted plenty of my shortcomings during the confrontation, but I also reaffirmed that what she did was so insanely wrong. I also reached out to this guy. He was clearly panicked and swore up and down nothing physical happened. He begged me to not tell his wife and ruin his life. He claimed his son is his entire world, which I rebuffed by saying all he did was complain about him to my wife. Not long after, he blocked me on everything and was texting my wife to not let your husband move out, and is he going to ruin my life now? Isn't it so annoying when people don't think about the consequences of their actions? Those thoughts didn't cross your mind throughout all of that? All those jokes you were making? Hilarious. So funny. I wish I could say that I took my pets and I stormed off and moved out like I dreamt up in my head. Sadly, all I did was move out of our room and demand time and space. She has been saying she will respect that, but has been persistently approaching me asking to talk about our marriage for the last several days. My emotions have ranged from complete rage to completely dead inside. I have just been right working or in bed sleeping for 14 hours a day at this point. I know I have checked out at this point. I feel like my entire life has been turned upside down. I recently established with a therapist for the first time in my life. I have plenty of childhood trauma from terrible parents, and she has been telling me that I am mourning a life I thought I had. Truthfully, I am just over all of this and everything. I've definitely got into a self-protection mode now. A few days ago, she asked me if I would be willing to see a marriage counselor with her. I begrudgingly agreed. During our first session, I admitted that I am unsure unsure if I want to save this marriage or not. I was not a very active participant as I was quite checked out. It had only been 3 days since the confrontation. We have more appointments coming up. I have told her that I am unsure I will ever get over this betrayal. I've also told her it is clear we have significant incompatibilities. She has been begging me to try as we've been together for so long, so clearly, quote, something works about us. She has been trying to be affectionate the last couple of days and getting me to reciprocate, like holding her hand, giving her a kiss, complimenting her, etc. I have not told the other guy's wife yet. I have not decided if I will or I won't. Morally, I know the absolute correct decision is to tell her. However, as mad as I am at my wife, I am not trying to just ruin her entire life. I am not out to get revenge on people. You wouldn't be ruining her life though. Her husband ruined her life. I understand that, especially as like a new mom. Of course, it would bring a lot of devastation. And maybe some people would agree, like, don't tell her. I am just personally, I would want to know the truth. I would want to know the truth of what my husband is absolutely doing behind my back, especially because I have a newborn and a child with this man. But some people might agree. Don't say a word, none of your business. Let me know what you think. I grew up with enough confrontation. I am definitely a non-confrontational person now. I also have not ruled out telling her yet, but I am just thinking about it. All in all, emotionally, I feel dead inside. I have lost all joy in my life and I'm just going through the motions. I do not know if I will be able to get over this to save the marriage, and I do not know if I even want to save the marriage. Our lives are just so intertwined that splitting will be such a difficult and miserable process. My closest friend is the only person who knows, and they have made it clear that divorce would be their only choice if they were in my shoes. I am lucky to have had their support during this, but I do feel guilty for just trauma dumping this situation. Edit. For clarification, yes, I have a large chunk of these texts documented and saved. I do not know if I will get over this. When I told her that I don't know if I'll ever get past this, she told me how she knows that I hold grudges against people, referencing my poor relationship with my parents these days. I definitely feel like there's been minimizing the situation, but she frames it as trying to move forward and just learn from the situation. I also just learned that he texted her last night to complain about some work situations to her. I was told that they were completely done speaking to each other, but it turns out the only person getting blocked is him blocking me after I confronted him. They're gonna continue to talk, no doubt, in my mind. I still don't believe that it wasn't physical. I'm not convinced yet. Let's see what the people of Reddit are saying. I guess OP gave some more clarification. So this is what OP had to say about saving the evidence. He said, yes, I have everything saved on multiple devices, partly because I couldn't even process what I was reading in that moment. And then what he had to say about his wife blocking the coworker, affair partner. OP said, I brought it up today in therapy. She told me she thinks it is unreasonable to completely cut someone out that she sees and works with on a daily basis and has to talk to for patient care. Yes, I know, a massive red flag. The therapist agreed demanding him be cut off is reasonable. The therapy session today was a joke. Multiple times the therapist said my point was completely reasonable and she just kept getting upset. She outright said completely blocking this guy off is unreasonable due to work. Constantly keeps saying that she is being punished when I say I'm struggling to get past this affair, and tons of why my shortcomings resulted in this affair. No way. Absolutely not would I be able to ever come back from this. Divorce. And some of you might disagree, or maybe you've gone through like an emotional affair and you went to counseling and you're still together to this day. I hear those stories too. Personally, knowing me, couldn't be me. Just couldn't. We got more updates, thank God, because I'm invested. It's hydration station time. Drink your water. I don't care what else you drink in life, but take a sip of water, okay? Thank me later. Cheers. We need to talk about bananas for a quick sec, okay? Because I have a confession and I get a lot of hate in real life when people in my life see how I eat bananas, okay? If a banana is not brown, I am not eating it. Like this, Some of y'all are gonna be like, that is disgusting. The bruises, yum. I need my bananas to be browning and bruising in order to eat them. And you know what? I deserve the hate. But I'm just wondering if there's anyone out there in this world that also has to eat bananas like this, or if it's just me. It's probably just me. The next update came November 1st, 5 days later. I truly felt like I've hit my breaking point. I feel completely numb half the time, and the other half, there's a deep, raging self-hatred. I despise who I am and my life. My entire life, I've been told nothing but what my faults are. Perfectionist parents who never once helped me build any pride, but only tore down any accomplishments. I have almost no true reliable friends. The worst part is I have a large group of fair weather friends who are around when times are great. If I confide in someone how I'm feeling, I can just feel the disgust and repulsion. I work in a fairly depressing field in medicine. I get fulfillment from my job, but it's constant death. Yeah, working in that field during all of this, I can't even imagine working in healthcare. That alone. But then when you're going through personal things like this, oh, whew, my therapy bill would be high. A not insignificant amount of my coworkers think my specialty shouldn't even exist and that we just hold patients' hands and listen to them cry. I find myself coming home from work and just sleeping. I know I'm depressed. I've always been depressed. I'm on antidepressants. I recently started therapy, but I just feel dead inside. It's completely understandable, and I'm just happy to hear you're in therapy and getting some help. We have an update the next day. I have received a lot of messages about my updates. She does seem to be showing true remorse recently. She has been very open about how badly she messed up and destroyed all trust. I can't say whether this remorse has moved me at all. I still feel checked out. I've just been coming home from work and sleeping the rest of the day. She tries to get me to cuddle or hug her, but honestly, I just feel so empty at this point. It's just going through the motions. I do actually feel bad about how I've been, but this has just struck me so deeply at this point. She has broken off all contact, it seems, with the other guy. She has blocked him on everything and avoids him at work, according to her. I've told her that I'm always going to have this bit of distrust in the back of my mind now. We have been continuing therapy, but honestly, it still feels like it's her just trying to justify the circumstances that led to this affair. We have clearly identified a lot of huge incompatibilities in our relationship. She wants to fight to change and be stronger, and I just don't even respond still. I feel like this affair validated so many self-doubts. My entire childhood was spent being screamed at about how everything I did was wrong, and now it feels like I'm being told what I did wrong led to being cheated on. Sometimes it seems like she understands the gravity, and sometimes she's trying to minimize it so that we can move forward. A lot of cheaters do that. Pretty much every cheating story I've ever read or experienced in real life, yeah. Well, you weren't making me feel wanted. We weren't having intimacy. There's two people not having intimacy if it's not being had, and that person didn't go out and cheat. The last few weeks have been awful. I've been struggling between being completely numb and seething with self-hatred. I've not felt this lonely in my life since I was a kid. I've been confiding with 2 friends, but at this point I feel like it's just pushing them away, so I won't be anymore. I'm surrounded by a larger group of fair weather friends who can't be depended on for anything. My family will never understand divorce, as in this stupid immigrant culture you tolerate anything to stay married. I am crumbling from the inside, and I don't even feel like I have the strength to make a decision. Another update, maybe he's in a better spot. 12 days later, we're now at November 14th. I have continued to feel like there's many moments of minimizing what happened and many moments of true remorse. I became paralyzed by the stress and I shut down. This week, I made the decision to move out. I packed the essentials and I booked a hotel. Her parents paid a huge chunk of that house, so I'm not asking her to leave. I have begun reflecting on everything, and I see that our relationship has been trying to get past some horrible incompatibilities. I finally have my answer that divorce is the right option. We are not happy together. She cheated, and I'll never get over that. She is begging me not to, but I will be telling her that I am done. And for the AP's wife, wife, the affair partner's wife, I will tell her to. Which leads us to the final update, 11 days later, November 25th. The last month has been pretty damn miserable to say the least. Regarding telling the other guy's wife, she knows now. Turns out he was texting similarly with 2 other nurses at the hospital, and she had caught him. She then found text messages from my wife that he had saved on his phone. We spoke briefly and I apologized for not telling her sooner, but yeah, she knows. Regarding my marriage, every single day I waffle between divorce or not. There are some days where it feels like she's being accountable and some days where there are nasty arguments. She still gets mad when I say cheating as nothing physical happened. Girl, there's still emotional cheating, but okay. She still gets mad when I make it, quote, seem like it's all her fault and I didn't contribute to it. Yesterday, she told me she should have slept with him, so at least she would have got something out of it. Better you than me in that situation, because whoo, police would be on their way. Today, she blew up on me for saying I'm not being accountable for what I did to lead to this happening. Yeah, not exactly the shining example of accountability. She told a few of our friends and her family a very half-assed story, which excluded the affair entirely, and then blamed me almost exclusively. It's gotten to the point where one person said it felt like a PR campaign. She has shown her true colors whenever I tell her we aren't going to recover. She shows how nasty and vile she can get. I won't list the countless other examples. Anyways, yeah, I know plenty of people will feel like I'm being a coward not having left already. I don't know why I'm having this stupid paralysis with it. I do feel bad as our pets were devastated when I temporarily moved out. I know that's not an excuse, but every stupid little thing weighs on me. It's hard throwing away 13 years like this, but if any of my friends came to me with this, I would recommend divorce. Hopefully I grow a pair and just pull the band-aid off soon. That was the last update, so I'm assuming he hasn't yet, but let's see what people of Reddit are saying. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty harsh with his decision. We'll see. First comment, when she says that she should have slept with him, it's time to pack up and go, my guy. Next comment, unfortunately, I think he won't leave. Eventually, she will leave him instead and won't give him a second thought. Next comment, use your thinking brain. For how flip-floppy and vile she is, I'm actually going to think that yes, eventually she's gonna file for divorce because his decision paralysis will keep them in limbo for the next year or more while she just gets angrier and angrier that he won't just get over her cheating. But after he signs, she's going to become even more nasty because he's not fighting for her and will drag out the divorce to try and bankrupt him. Once the divorce is finalized in another year or two, then she'll never think of him again. Which could also be true. I mean, she's already mad at him for not being able to get over it. Crazy. Next comment, I think part of his problem is that he's dealing with death on a daily basis at work and then has to come home and deal with the death of his marriage. He is struggling to pull the plug even though he knows he needs to. Palliative care is a deeply depressing field and he may be burning out. In my experience, nurses have a little more leeway there because they can move to a different floor of the hospital for a while to get away from it, but doctors don't really get that option. Oh, we know he's struggling. I think he's made that very clear. Especially with work, like carrying that home into his personal life. I don't think he's left her at this point either. That's probably why he hasn't updated, because what's he gonna update and say, hey, I decided I'm gonna stay in my marriage? Probably not. I'll keep my eye out, but let me know what you think is going to happen and what you think should happen. You might be on team forgiveness and team working through it. Let me know. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. See you tomorrow.